guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I am going to talk to you all about a vacation that I recently went on. A whole lot of ways I can get my cash up. Nigga, you ain't got no backup. You should back up. Last December, or December 2018, I got the opportunity to go to Pakistan for the first time in 14, almost 15 years. I didn't know what to expect at all because the last time I went, I was literally like 4 years old, I think. So I had like no recollection of the trip at all. The only memory that I have from Pakistan from the first time I went was I was in the bathroom. I guess I was about to take a bath. I looked over to the wall and there was just a huge, giant, fat lizard on the wall. That was the first time I ever saw anything like that, and I just screamed at the top of my lungs. And that's literally something that I will never forget because I was actually truly traumatized. Other than that, I have like no recollection of that trip whatsoever. So I honestly did not know what to expect from this trip at all. Fortunately, it was a really great trip, and I'm so blessed to have such amazing cousins and family over there that made the trip as great as it was. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about my trip and give you guys a recap of my trip to Pakistan. Just a quick little geography lesson. For those of you who don't know where Pakistan is, it is in South Asia and it is bordered by India, China, Afghanistan, and Iran. It is a huge country with a population of 197 million people. That's insane. Even though it's a developing country, I used to think that developing countries didn't have as big of populations, but Pakistan's population is huge. To put it in perspective, I'm Canadian and the population of Pakistan is nearly 6 times the population of Canada, which absolutely blows my mind. So we first touched down in Lahore, and Lahore is Pakistan's second biggest city. It has a population of 9 million people, and that's like 9 times the population of Ottawa, which is absolutely insane. There are a lot of people that we know who live in Lahore, but the main people who we were around the most were my mom's sisters, or my aunts, and their families. So I lived in a pretty modernized society. I was pretty much living lavish, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. We lived in a society called EME. You may call societies like your community or your neighborhood, but this is like a society and it has a bunch of blocks in there. So like a big neighborhood with a bunch of little neighborhoods in it, and EME has really nice big houses and they have people working for them, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But it was like just a really nice neighborhood. No two houses look the same either, because the way like real estate works there is what most people do, and what my family's done is they buy land and then they get people to custom build their house the way that they want. So that's why you will probably never find two houses that are 100% alike. Like I said, this society was pretty modernized, so when I was sitting in the houses, I didn't feel like I was in Pakistan, in a developing country on the other side of the world. Everything was nice. They had nice bedrooms and huge houses, like way bigger than my house now. And on top of that, they had people working for them. My aunts had cooks, they had maids, they had drivers, gardeners, people who came to do your laundry, like literally everything. Another thing that was really different than here is that there were servants' quarters in the houses. There were stairs from the side of the house on the outside that these servants would take to go up to their servants' quarters. So they had like their own kitchen and rooms and stuff. So now that I've talked a little bit about the houses and overall gist of the lifestyle, I'm going to talk about the people, because obviously the people make or break your experience. I stayed with my aunts and their families, and they both lived in this EME society. So one aunt lived in block B and the other lived in block C, but they both lived in the edges, so they were 2 to 5 minute walk from each other's houses, which was really nice because we often got together. I mainly went there for my cousin's wedding and we stayed at her house. Her family is my aunt, my uncle, her, and then her 2 brothers. My cousin Awes, he is 21 years old. He's a med student and he is really talented and really gifted. He has like lots of sketches and drawings and paintings and stuff that he's done, and I just found those so amazing because he's so talented. That was pretty cool. And then my other cousin, he actually went away for school doing his master's in engineering. I don't remember which one, but he's doing his master's. So because of that, we didn't really spend much time with him, and I don't really have like any videos with him, I don't think. I will put a picture somewhere in this video from like his Instagram or something for an honorable mention. There was my cousin who was obviously getting married. I did see her a little bit, but after the wedding festivities, she went to live with her husband. So I saw her not much, but I did see her, and that was still really nice because I saw her after 14 14 years since the last time I came. My other cousins lived in the other block and they were in Ireland before, so when I saw them last I was only like a year old. No recollection from that trip at all. Obviously seeing them was like literally meeting them for the first time. They moved back to Pakistan like 6-7 years ago, so this is the first time I met them in Pakistan. There's like a 21-year-old, 19-year-old, 12-year-old, and I think a 16-year-old. I might be wrong. It was cool seeing them and spending time with them. The oldest sister from them, Rimmel, she also goes out of the city for med school.
I'm gonna be awkward on camera. Canada sucks, but Justin Trudeau is hot.
And I didn't see her that much, but whenever she was in the city, it was nice all of us being together and like sleeping over and stuff. So those are the people. We talked about the place. Now I'm going to talk about the main reason why I went. I may have briefly mentioned this before in other videos, but I did go for my cousin's wedding, and Pakistani culture is huge and there's so much to it and I can't cover it all in this video. The wedding is a really big deal. The wedding preparations start like even a year prior to the actual wedding, or maybe even longer, just depending on the family. But we flew in for the 3 big major events and festivities. The first day is called the Mehndi, and it's basically a day. There's a lot of singing, dancing, bright colors.
Follow my lead.
This kind of kicks off the wedding festivities, and then the second day is the Baraat day. There was just a marching band, I guess. And then the last day was the walima, and it's basically where the married couple can mingle with their guests. I don't really know everything about it because obviously I've been to Pakistani weddings here, but they don't compare to one in Pakistan. Now that I've been to one in Pakistan, I can say that. That's like everything about the wedding. The wedding is a huge topic itself. I couldn't even just talk about the wedding now. That would call for a completely different video because it's so detailed and there's so much that goes into it. After the wedding festivities were done, it was basically time to continue traveling. I traveled to a city 2 hours away from Lahore, and it's called Faisalabad. So Faisalabad is where my parents are actually from. My mom was born in a village, and we also visited that village as well. This village is basically not the village she was born in, but kind of where she grew up for a little bit, maybe until like 5 or 6 years old, maybe less, I'm not completely sure. This village has a lot of our land and my grandparents' land, so we got to see their old house as well. My grandparents, both on my mom's and my dad's side, passed away, so I didn't meet them, but I did get to see their houses. I got to see that house, and I saw lots of animals in Pakistan, not only in the village but everywhere. I saw goats and sheep, lambs, chickens, donkeys, buffaloes, horses, cows. Like I saw so many different animals, so that was cool, and I got to go like really close to them as well. One misconception that I had was I used to think that people who lived in villages were people who were poor, people who weren't financially stable or couldn't afford to go live in industrialized areas, but that's actually not always the case. In like the villages that I went to, the reason people who live there is because a lot of them have so much property and own so much land in the village. They don't want to just throw that all away, you know? So what people do is they like renovate houses and they just build newer houses in the villages. So it's still a village per se, but it doesn't mean that it's because these people are poor or they can't afford to go out of the village. I also went to my dad's house and his parents' house as well, and in that house my youngest uncle, I think he's the youngest, yeah, he lives there. It was cool being in that house as well because I knew like that's where my grandparents lived and stuff. There was a plaque outside the door that was my grandfather's name on it, and he was an advocate, and he had, I don't know what this MALLB stands for. If I figure it out I'll put it on the screen, but it's some sort of law degree, but he was a professor as well, and it was just really cool seeing that outside his house. My uncle actually has lots of birds. He has so many birds, exotic and tropical birds, and it was so cool seeing them as well. What else is there to say? I'm so sorry, this video is probably probably all over the place, but it's just because I'm just talking as these things come to my mind. I may forget things and I'm really trying not to, but just bear with me. One thing that was really nice about the houses that I stayed in, or pretty much all the houses there, is they all have flat roofs. So they all have like terraces, which is so nice because you can go up on the terrace whenever you want, and it's so nice. It's so cool because I can't do that here. You know, it's winter outside, but even then our houses aren't made like that. Like, I'm sure there are maybe some houses that are, but mine isn't, and I haven't seen any like that. So because the population of Pakistan is so big, there's always people trying to get somewhere, meaning there's always traffic. Traffic is something that is actually inevitable in that country, and it's literally never ending. Wherever you go, it does not matter what time of the day, there will be traffic. The only thing that you can kind of say is that just sometimes of the day there will be less traffic than other times of the day, but there will always still be traffic. The rush hour here is not even comparable to the rush hour there. Think about Toronto or New York's traffic on crack. That's what the traffic was like all the time over there. It didn't matter which city I was in, what time of the day it was, there was just always so much traffic. There's also a lot of fog in that country, and I don't actually know why there's so much fog. Let's actually just search it up right now. The dry air from north of Pakistan becomes humid and moist. I don't really know, okay, but there's just a lot of fog and not safe to drive a lot of the times. And we were actually going from one city to the other. There was so much fog, the motorway was closed. So the motorway is similar to a highway, freeway, whatever you want to call it, but it was closed. And you're probably wondering, how is it possible to close a highway? Like, that's not possible, but it actually is. There's a lot of tolls over there that you need to go through if you want to use that highway. I know here, at least in Canada, there's like an expressway and the regular way, and the express highway has a toll and everything, but the regular way doesn't. But over there, like the motorway, when you're on there, you have to go through tolls, and the first toll was closed. Nobody could get through, meaning there was just this long lineup of traffic, and we waited in traffic for like an hour and a half. What was really cool about this though, and was something that I never experienced before, was since we were all parked over there, people actually got out of their cars and started to walk around in between the cars and stuff, you know, getting fresh air or whatever it was that they wanted to do. But there was also a number of buses, coach buses, you know, because people are traveling and stuff, and there was a coach bus that was filled with college students, and these college students actually got out of the coach bus, went on the side of the road, and started singing, dancing, and playing music. And it was so cool to see that because I've never seen anything like that before, and I don't think I would ever see anything like that here in Canada. It was nice to see them like having fun and just literally not caring that they're in the middle of this big traffic jam lineup, whatever you want to call it. They're literally living their best life. That just a little bit about my trip and what it's like going there. It was a lot of fun. I loved spending time with my cousins. They're so welcoming and they're so outgoing, and they really made me feel like home when I was there. To be honest, when I went there, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how my cousins would be, because I know a lot of my cousins are studying medicine, and I thought they would be like preoccupied with studying and wouldn't really talk to me and stuff, but that was not true at all. We had so much fun all together.
You're too young.
What?
Why did you do that?
I don't know. I just heard it somewhere, so I'm just. Okay. Oh, honey.
Don't do it again. We went to McDonald's and we ate like so much good food all the time. There were so many restaurants, and I'm a vegetarian and I still found the food really good because over there like everything has meat in it, but I survived, and I'm surprised that I did because I honestly didn't think I was going to. We ate tons of good food. We had so much fun. We even went on a sightseeing bus in Lahore and we went around. We saw all these landmarks of Pakistan, which was really cool as well and was a great experience. I also got to go to Islamabad, and I only went there for like a day because our family friends used to live in the US, but they moved to Pakistan and we just wanted to go visit them. We went there, we saw their house, and it was a cool time. It was really fun. There's no central heating in the houses. Like here, every single house has central heating, or at least that's what I think, but over there they didn't because they don't really need heat. Probably cold maybe like 2 months out of the whole year, so they kind of make do with it. Like they'll just wear sweaters or layer up or whatever it may be. And by cold, I don't even mean -30. Like here today it felt like -32 outside. Over there their cold is like 11 degrees, maybe 0 degrees at the coldest. I'm not talking about like the northern areas. My cousin told me the northern areas, like when he visited, they were like -10. Still not super cold, not anything like this. So my camera's about to die. These are the the stories and some of my experiences from my trip to Pakistan. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I post videos weekly. If you want to hear more stories about my trip to Pakistan, I can make so many because there's so many stories. I experienced so many different things and I would love to share them with you guys. So as always, I will see you guys in my next video.